This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Forgotten Forest for the 2v2 Championship Tournament Semifinal A Best of 5. On the left side, representing one half of Team 100% World Champions, our blue GDI, this is Panic. And just to the northeast of him, the other half of the team, green nod, this is Andre. And on the other half of the map, representing part of Team dgaf FU, this is MasterLeaf. Orange, Traveler 59, opening up with a Descent Rush in classic fashion. And the other half of the team, you probably know him, this is DirtyDutch. Yellow, black hand. Not a huge surprise, DirtyDutch playing black hand, MasterLeaf playing Traveler 59. This is Semifinal A. I will, of course, be covering Semifinal B and the finals as well. That's 2 best of 5s and a best of 7 to look forward to. Of course, a nice shout-out to Spartacus, who was nice enough to package up these replays, and he included fake replays in case there are any incomplete series. So going into this, I have no idea what the map score is going to be in any way, and I am definitely very excited to check out these games with top players like this, Panic Andre, MasterLeaf DirtyDutch, and I haven't even seen who's going to be playing on the other half of the bracket. It's surely going to be some good games nonetheless. Now, the 2v2 Championship Tournament has $500 on the line. First place gets $300. Second place, $150, and third place, $50. And I'm assuming that's going to be split between the players equally. I guess maybe there's a possibility where, like, one team really wants to just have all of the money go to one guy or something like that. But still, $300, $150 for first place. Basically, you show up, you play some Kane's Wrath for a couple of hours, and potentially you walk away with $150. That is pretty darn cool. Descent's just staying alive. Of course, they've got fast legs, and maybe they're going to be able to grab a couple of units here and there, but MasterLeaf looking to put on a bit of that early pressure, and killing that early tib spike is, of course, always nice. Now, moving on from there, we do have $500. Where did it come from? It came from a fellow by the name of Scott O'Neill. A big thank you to him for sponsoring a little bit of Kane's Wrath action and putting, I'm assuming, his own money on the line, or at the very least, he apparently went out and found $500 to put on the line. So a big thank you to him, and of course, all the guys over at Game Replays who made this event possible. I know for a fact Spartacus was streaming it the day of, so if you want to see all of the results, well, if you wanted to see Spartacus's stuff, you probably would have already watched it. He was up, it was up the day that he casted it, and I unfortunately had to work, which I found out. Originally, I was planning on streaming and casting, and then I found out like 2 days before that I couldn't, and yeah. So that is the way things go. Of course, I will be doing what I can to cover the games. And if there's some standout games from the other rounds of the tournament, then I will definitely be looking to cover those. In the meantime, Bike Buggy going to be coming out for Andre. And of course, in classic fashion, both of these guys going to be expanding on South. And this is just generally how this map tends to play out. The Southern player moves their MCV, and then both players can expand off of them. And tib spikes are usually grabbed by the northern players. That's just generally the way that this game opens up. And of course, green versus yellow, bikes v bikes. I guess Andre came out slightly ahead of that engagement. I'm not actually sure who had more units overall. And this is kind of interesting. MasterLeaf, ordinarily, the kind of strength of the Descent Rush strat is to power through and just kill off harvesters and to just push past everything. But in this case, he's mostly just kept them out on the map as an active threat and not really doing all that much with them. He killed a tib spike right in the beginning, which is nice, and I suppose from there, if he's able to see, okay, yeah, my opponents don't have anything, they were going super greed, then he can potentially just end the game for one of the players really quite quickly. Hammerhead's going to be coming out for Panic, but it's more about the Pitbulls here in this battle against Gunwalkers, and Descent trying to find a good angle to engage, but they're being pushed away a little bit by the Bike Buggy and the AP C's, as unfortunately the reverse move bug going to be claiming one of those Pitbulls. I'm not actually sure. AP ammo has been finished, so that is going to be giving some nice, good DPS against Skrin for Panic, and Andre going to be losing potentially a couple of units if he's not able to really deal with these gunwalkers, but Bike's going to be swinging around south. And finally, Dirty Dutch going to be rocking up with a couple of Scorpion tanks. MCV on the move could be very dangerous, but the Lightning Spike is going to be providing just a little bit of tanking for these gunwalkers. And there's the setup of the Conyard. I'm assuming behind the scenes Andre is constructing a base defense or two to potentially go down here with this newfound build radius. Pitbulls should be able to work through, with the help of the APCs, these last remaining gunwalkers. And actually going to be pulling back to the watchtower. I don't know that MasterLeaf definitely doesn't have strength to push on too much further by himself, but bringing in some Mechapedes, bringing in some Scorpion tanks from Dirty Dutch as well, definitely going to be a good idea. And actually, another opportunity might be to head north and try to hit some of these... Oh, all of the Harvesters are actually being brought down, so potentially that will open up some weaknesses for our Team 100% World Champion. Scorpion tanks starting to get on top of some of the Harvesters, but they do get mine dropped there by some of the APCs, and now they're actually remarkably low on HP. Some focus firing from Andre or Panic could definitely clean up a lot of these tanks really quite easily. Back on the front lines, Mechapedes continuing to tear through, but mostly with only 2 Mechapedes being brought to the front lines, they're starting to get torn up. MasterLeaf does need to be careful. He doesn't want to lose any of those Mechapedes a little bit too easily. Andre steps forward with a couple of Scorpion tanks, but won't quite be able to do all that much with them. As you heard, the Eradicator Hexpod just came on out. We do have Tier 3 up for Panic, but Andre doesn't seem to be on Tier 3 just yet. He is definitely on Tier 2. There's going to be Tier 3 for him. And of course, that is always the marker, is who gets to their epic unit first and who's able to do what with their epic unit. Somewhere out on the map, oh, Dirty Dutch with the Tib Kata missile going to be taking out 2 of... Oh... Double or nothing is what Dirty Dutch says. Going to be weakening some of these Harvesters, and then, of course, weakening the Harvesters and then rolling in with Scorpion tanks or Bike Buggy is a good way to get a lot of kills pretty darn easily. Hammerheads from Panic going to be firing off, and unfortunately taking a bit too much damage there from the Plasma Missile Battery. Eradicator Hexapod stepping forward, doesn't have a whole lot of support, only has, I think, 1 Shock Trooper inside, which means he doesn't have fantastic DPS against aircraft. And nice control from Panic, won't be losing any Hammerheads. A lot of players just sort of are a little bit lazier with their control and just let units go down unnecessarily. EMP fires off, and this Juggernaut is definitely going to be getting some nice moves. Another Shock Trooper squad jumps inside, or was that a... Might actually have just been Descents jumping inside. And of course, Descents will give you a bit of extra DPS, but it won't give you that anti-air capability. EMPs repeatedly being dropped, and this Obelisk is going to be able to do some good DPS once the phase ends up wearing off. And is this EMP Buggy going to refire potentially and lock down that Eradicator Hexapod? But the phase should be wearing off relatively soon. Mechapede's going to be getting pulled back. Redeemer on the way for Dirty Dutch. He's going to be looking to support his opponent, his ally rather. And MasterLeaf, he has his drone ship on the front line, so both teams have committed to this fairly hard. There's more EMPs going to be firing off. Phase should be wearing off relatively soon here, as it has been active for quite some time. And more Obelisks going to be coming down, but with the artillery advantage, Panic should be able to tear through any sort of a real base defense. He does need to keep his Juggernaut safe from the Mechapedes, as 1 Mechapede does end up going down. Nice focus fire from the APCs, and goodbye Eradicator Hexapod. It gets eliminated, and now suddenly, with no real super tank and no real way to stop the Juggernauts, we're going to have to see something else come out from MasterLeaf and Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch has expanded up north, of course, dropping down some temporal wormholes to try to slow down the Juggernauts and do some damage with base defense is definitely one way to do it. But the Redeemer doesn't actually come out. Instead, the Redeemer Engineering Facility gets eliminated, and the Juggernauts will end up going down to the Obelisk as well. It looks like a couple of them are still here. Andre definitely trying to beacon something. He wants the Mastermind dealt with as it steps forward, and I'm not sure if he was actually able to grab anything, but he needs that killed so it doesn't end up doing more damage somewhere else. MasterLeaf doesn't have a whole lot of forces here. He's starting to bring cultists onto the front line, which is going to be quite nice in the coming minutes. But unfortunately for Panic and Andre, they don't necessarily have super good eco behind this. They need to secure this Tiberium field, or perhaps this Tiberium field up north, to be able to really fuel themselves into the next couple of minutes of this game. Starting to make some headway with Scorpion tanks is Andre, but really the artillery is going to what's kind of Well, it's gonna win the war, if anything, because that mammoth tank certainly is not. Cultist squad starting to eat away at the Scorpion tank numbers, turn some of the units over to MasterLeaf's side. And of course, the danger of Spectre artillery is you do need to protect them always. And MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch are actually going to be able to push on forward. Engineer on the front lines as well. Unfortunately for Panic, I don't know if he'll actually be able to push too much further forward with that Hammerhead. Storm Column hasn't quite gone down yet, and Scorpion Tank's trying to get some shots off on the Spectres, but it might actually be more effective if the Cultists could actually get to the front lines. Unfortunately, he can't quite risk it just yet. Spectres from DirtyDutch going to be firing away at the Spectres from Andre, and Andre, for now, will survive with a couple of Spectres. DirtyDutch in the north, pretty much unimpeded in just harvesting away at that center Tiberium field. He doesn't have a whole lot of eco established just yet. It would be nice if he was able to get a couple more harvesters on the line. And, I mean, he can keep just the 2 refineries. He doesn't necessarily have to go up to 3. A nice EMP fires off there for one of the players, and actually going to be eliminating a couple of the Spectre artilleries as they do go down. And I'm not actually sure that our team on the left side, 100% world champs, has ever actually got up to epic units. It's only the team on the right side, which is, you know, once again going to be trying to get up to that Redeemer with DirtyDutch. Tibcore Bikes going to be moving in to deal with an Obelisk, but they need to target down the Hammerheads as well, and the splash damage from the stacking Hammerheads can sometimes be a big pain to deal with. And that is potentially just enough DPS to deal with the Obelisk. The Eradicator Hexapod is back on the way, but Devastator warships, the artillery of Skrin, can be extremely difficult to deal with. One single Scorpion tank getting captured will be causing a couple of problems there. And Andre, unfortunately, will be losing the one kind of bastion of hope, his Scorpion tank there. And he's just going to be relying on the infantry, which, if they have to try to deal with an Eradicator Hexapod, they're going to need some sort of support to join with them. Oh, Firehawks, moments too late. Panic has been defeated. It's all coming down to Andre. And, of course, 2v1s rarely work out well for the player who's playing against 2. MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch take game number 1. And that is the opening of the best of 5. Certainly, we are looking for some more explosive action from these two guys. With these two high-level teams, I don't really think there's going to be too many down moments. It's probably just going to be getting better from here. And of course, the economy, wow, Panic never really establishing himself very much, and that actually might have been the point where DirtyDutch hit him with a couple of catalyst missiles and then fired off a little bit of that Tibcore detonation as well, which is super annoying to play against. But DirtyDutch, some people, you know, he uses those one clicks very, very well. Overall, that will do it for game number 1. Let's jump into game number 2, which takes us to Unsound Investment, and the team that is leading, they're presently in the north, making up one half of Team dgaf. I'm sure you can figure out what that means. Purple Traveler 59, this is MasterLeaf. And just over to the other side, Yellow Black Hand, this is DirtyDutch. On the south side, representing the team that is down 0-1, this is Panic. Blue GDI. His ally is going to be the Green Nod. This is Andre. As always, Unsound Investment, another staple in the 2v2 scene. And we've definitely seen some very good 2v2s on this map. Couple of Tib spikes in the back going to be grabbed by MasterLeaf, but once again going for those descents. Now the descents not necessarily playing a huge role in the previous game. He's going to be grabbing the center as well. Just going to be securing 3 Tib spikes for himself. Pretty nice for MasterLeaf to have that income early on. And once again, Panic, he brings out the APC nice and early, adds a Rifleman squad into it as well, just to be able to pick off those squads even easier. And he wants to beacon his opponent, or rather his friend, and he wants to be like, hey, Andre, watch out. You do indeed have incoming. And actually, this bike buggy pairing up, well, more of just these bikes pairing up with the descents could be an extremely potent and powerful combo to deal with. A couple of bikes going to be coming in, and of course anti-infantry are going to be doing pretty well against the descents, but not so well against the bikes. Fortunately, bikes have very weak armor, so against watchtowers they will do not too well. And first Scorpion tank does pop out, but it might actually be able to get a couple of crushes, and crushing and losing a Scorpion tank is going to be better than losing the Harvesters. So this attack, for the most part, has been shut down. 2 Harvesters going down is a pretty big deal. That's quite a bit of money ended up just being lost there. Now, fortunately, Andre has 2 Tib spikes, so it's going to help him make up a little bit of his losses there of losing those 2 Harvesters. And, I mean, ideally, he would have 3, so he's definitely going to be behind in that respect. But well, I mean, 4 Harvesters for MasterLeaf, and DirtyDutch should have, 3 or so as well. Second War Factory. Is this a power plant going to be coming in? Is this just going to be dual War Factory bike buggy all in? Ordinarily, it's not off of 2 refineries, which is why this would definitely be weird. But I guess DirtyDutch is just going to be looking for some sort of early move with his MCV. Ordinarily, you really wait for the second War Factory until you've got a little bit of eco established over at your more natural expansion. In this particular case, he's definitely looking to put out a lot of units over the next couple of minutes. Panic going to be moving out with his MCV as well. Andre moving forward a little bit, also going to be looking towards that natural expansion. And, I mean, in the north, we've got the Nod Brethren, while in the south, it's more... oh my, it's more descents for MasterLeaf. And MasterLeaf, he loves his portals. He loves his infantry units from Scrin. We've seen him use them in many, many tournaments over time. And not even just in tournament matches, just in random matches, he'll do all sorts of things with infantry in various factions, but definitely fast leg descents going to be something that he loves using. And they're one of those things that are... they're good at most stages of the game, and their advantage in the kind of later stages comes from hopefully your opponent isn't quite ready for it, they're not quite looking for it, and so as a result you get maybe some free kills or nearly free kills like freshly popped out Harvesters as MasterLeaf dives in, is going to be able to clean up 1 Harvester, and the second Harvester full of Tiberium. He really wants to save that. Mines get dropped, and a nice save there by Panic is going to be able to secure himself that Harvester full of Tiberium. Maybe if there would have been a couple of bikes there, it wouldn't have quite been the same, but Bike Buggy now going to be moving in for DirtyDutch. He's going to be engaging straight up against Scorpion tanks with repairs, which won't turn out very well for him over the next couple of minutes. Some focus fire could eliminate a couple of these bikes with just a few shots, but more Bike Buggy from that double War Factory going to be pouring in for DirtyDutch. And this is getting to the critical number where once the Scorpion tanks start coming out one at a time, the Bike Buggy can overwhelm them pretty easily. Adding in rockets is a good way to defend against this. He's going to be losing at least 1 Harvester. Andre never really able to establish his economy in a way that he would like, and Beacon's going to be going down as more descents rushing in on the other side of the map, trying to find out those openings, trying to find those weakened Harvesters, but they're not quite going to be able to eliminate them. Another Harvester does go down. That count up to 4 now for Andre, unfortunately losing so much of his eco, almost a 5th Harvester going down for Andre, and now Descent's going to be moving in, going right for the throat, going right for the refinery, as they don't even care about the Harvester, which is already stealthed and escaped, and they'll get a 3,000 credit refinery. That's a fair amount of descents that you actually have to trade out for that not to be worth it. A couple of them do survive, but they won't be able to do anything more. MasterLeaf going to be taking a bit of pressure. Panic moving in. This is a lot of APCs here. How many of them actually have Rifleman Squad? It looks like just a couple of them, as they don't really have that much additional ammunition coming out of them. Photon Cannon going to be getting placed down for MasterLeaf. He should be able to hold this position. He's got a fair amount of... well, he's got a fair amount of Seeker tanks, or I guess not a fair amount, but he's got reinforcements right there on the front line and repair from the Warp Sphere, which is really quite important. Predator tanks starting to be mixed in for Panic. He may be able to make a Pred combo, a Pred APC combo actually work out for him, but for now, MasterLeaf going to be moving to the right side of the map. He's looking to, again, just hamstring Andre as the Scorpion tanks move in for DirtyDutch. Buzzers do get called in right on top of some of the rocket squads, although they do get eliminated by those watchtowers quite nicely. Andre and Panic having to deal with a lot of pressure from DirtyDutch and MasterLeaf, but can they actually strike back and put on some aggression of their own? Thus far, MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch have been the ones who have been the aggressors in this particular series, and Descent's going to be getting cleaned up on the right side, but on the left side, This is actually a serious amount of Gunwalker and Seeker tanks now moving out for MasterLeaf. When they join up with those Scorpion tanks, it's actually going to be a scary force, and why not slow down your opponent's units, as the Temporal Wormhole will be firing off and targeting down some of the weakened Scorpion tanks and Predators APC and Predator tanks would be very useful. As this Concave moving in, and Andre tries to move in for support, but he's only got 4 or 5 Scorpion tanks. His infantry are significantly slower, allowing the Concave to continue. The amount of DPS being put out by Team dgaf FU is just insurmountable, by Team 100% World Champions. They don't have quite the numbers just yet. If they can hold on for a couple of more seconds, maybe the extra Predator tanks coming out will be enough to hold this off, but it's so many units, and Andre being hamstrung from earlier in this game, not quite being able to really be an active participant in this battle with a significant amount of units, is really hurting Team 100% World Champions. MasterLeaf now going to be bringing in Annihilator tripods, because why not? He's teched up to tier 3 from this, and now he's going to be bringing even more firepower to the party. Not even the airfield has been able to do that much for Panic. He just cannot get enough forces out to deal with these Gunwalkers. And maybe he would be able to do it with the Predator tanks over time, but adding in the Annihilator tripod, adding in the Prodigy just does not help things, as APC lays down mines for MasterLeaf, and these units are just temporarily mine-controlled, so they should phase out of it in a couple of moments here, but I'm pretty sure the mines will still be active for MasterLeaf. And there's the MCV cap, and Cell drops a Storm Column just to add insult to injury. MasterLeaf dominating Panic in this particular game, and Andre on the other side of the map not having much better luck, as Scorpion tanks closing in on his Harvesters. And unfortunately for Team 100% World Champions, this game is almost 100% over, as they need some sort of trick up their sleeve to actually win it from here. A decisive Game 2 will most likely be going to Team dgaf FU. And that is apparently what their opponents are going to be saying to them, is F you guys, as Andre falls. Panic has been defeated as well. And Team dgaf, oh man, up 2-0 in a very convincing style, and this does not mean that Andre and Panic will not be able to make the comeback, the reverse clean sweep happen. A 3-0 from here is what Team 100% World Champs needs to actually be able to take this series and continue on to that, well, to the grand final. But can they make it happen? The comeback needs to start in game number 3, which takes us to Hurricane Land. Spawning on the left side is Team 100% World Champs. They need to mount the comeback right here, right now, or their only option is to play for third and take home $50. Fourth place, they get nothing. Representing one half of Team 100% World Champs, plain blue, GDI, this is Panic! His ally, green nod, this is Andre! And the red, Traveler 59, once again opening up Descent. Can the Team dgaf FU be stopped? This is MasterLeaf. There's a stasis chamber, just to let you know he is indeed going to be researching fast legs. And on the very right side, the easternmost man of this map, boy is he dirty. This is DirtyDutch. Yellow and black hand for the third time. Perhaps the last time, because, quite frankly, Team dgaf FU has been looking dominating. In game number 1, it was certainly closer, but in game number 2, they had a commanding victory. And game number 3 is what presents the challenge. This is where everything can change for Panic and Andre. Team Pandre, as I call them. However, their name is 100% World Champs, and we are sure that they are going to be the World Champions. Descent's going to be moving in. MasterLeaf loves this move. In fact, it was about a year ago that he actually made this a more viable strategy, and it's something that people have done for a long, long time, but definitely fell out of use. And then, you know, a year ago at the Kane's Wrath World Championship, he actually made it happen. And, well, once again, looking for that mine drop bomb. Ooh, the APC stepped too far forward, wasn't able to bait the descent into the mine drop, and now that's a large piece of... It's not all, that's important to note, but it's a large piece of the defensive power going to be getting shut down. A Reckoner and a Black Hand Flame Tank going to be moving forward alongside with these descents. There's the shutdown of the Reckoner, but this Flame Tank does survive to get barely any DPS, and this attack has been shut down. One descent manages to survive a little bit longer, and there's really nothing inside of this Reckoner. So that's not really going to be doing a whole lot. I think maybe the Reckoner should have been sent in a little bit sooner, and maybe the Flame Tank should have followed for that attack to do a bit more. But certainly the best opening thus far, maybe not the best opening, but certainly a better opening thus far for Team 100% World Champs. Andre is going to be moving his MCV down south, but Panic has already established himself in the north. And for MasterLeaf, he's dropping more portals. He's doing this, again, double descent, and he's probably going, again, Gunwalkers and Seeker Tanks, and he's just going to be looking to attack on multiple fronts and really make this work. MCV going to be lifting up and most likely heading south for those expansion points, and I guess eventually Dirty Dutch is going to be looking to utilize those Black Hand Infantry, which are oh so powerful. Descents really being a good option to shut down many early game vehicle-based aggressive options for Panic and Andre. They really need to make sure that they pack along their anti-infantry, or they need to be okay with sacrificing tanks to crush the descents. And of course, with fast legs, descents can do a pretty good job of keeping up with the tanks. Up in the north, more descents going to be moving forward. MasterLeaf really wants to make this work, and he's really going to be looking to put out the damage. Nope, just some infantry taking a bit of latent damage from the Tib field. Panic looking to establish himself, and whatever the case may be, it may kind of be one of those awkward situations where Panic is forced to pool a lot of his units and resources on the right side, and he doesn't have much on the left side to deal with the attacks coming in from MasterLeaf. For now, he's got the APCs here, a couple of watchtowers as well, going to be getting a little bit of repairs potentially for that APC. It does go down a bit too quickly for repairs to really be a factor, but with this additional rifleman squad going to be moving in, the last of the descents do fall. MasterLeaf's aggression has been shut down, and once again, descent pushing forward, going to be pushing back a couple of those Pit Bulls, while on the front line, Scorpion Tanks and Gunwalkers going to be doing their best to trade out against Andre's forces. Now, the nice thing for Andre, of course, is immediate reinforcements and that repair from the War Factory. Targeting down Harvesters would be the name of the game, but there's not a whole lot of stealth detection here for Team dgaf. And for now, they're just going to be kind of settling for trading out against Scorpion Tanks, which as long as they've got superior firepower, they can trade out fairly cost-effectively. But if Andre is on top of his micro, on top of his control, he is going to be able to deal with a lot more tanks just by microing around to the backside. And hopefully, if Panic is able to get some forces over here, which he very well may not actually have many forces to send over there, he should be able to repel this. It's not that many Scorpion Tanks, but it's kind of too many Scorpion Tanks for Andre to deal with by himself very easily. And as the numbers start to get a little bit overwhelming for Andre, he doesn't have a whole lot of forces actually left out on the field. And he, as you can see, he's doing a good job of keeping a lot of his Harvesters alive and actually keeping them from going down, which is certainly very nice. Panic going to be pushing forward. His APCs have actually been back home trying to defend. But this War Factory being caught unawares, these three Predator tanks, they're going to be going for the crush, and they will eliminate a fair amount of... Well, they don't eliminate enough of the descents. They eliminate a fair number of the units, but not actually the squads themselves, still allowing some DPS to be put out on that War Factory, and one Rifleman squad going to be heading on over, and unfortunately that Rifleman squad is just doomed to die, as you need a little bit of DPS to actually deal with descents. They're quite effective at doing their job, and in this case, the APCs are enough to deal with them. Oh, this is a problem as Andre's force is going to be moving in here, but Panic's MCV is getting dangerously low on HP as the Scorpion Tanks and Gunwalkers going to be moving forward. MasterLeaf doesn't even need any Seeker Tanks with this composition. Goodbye MCV, it gets eliminated, and of course that's shutting down so many options for Panic. He's in a dire situation. As long as he maintains one War Factory, which is what I believe that square on the minimap is, he should have an opportunity, but he doesn't have much else, and he really doesn't have much Tiberium back home. He needs some sort of economy to furnish his army into the next couple of steps of this game, but without many forces left on the map, it's going to be mostly coming down to Andre against the double force of MasterLeaf and DirtyDutch. Andre pushing forward, Scorpion tanks getting eaten alive bit by bit by this huge concave of gunwalkers. It's mostly just gunwalkers, a couple of Scorpion tanks and descents also mixed in to add up that extra bit of DPS. And Panic, no, Panic may not actually have any production facilities out on the map. He's defending his one lone war factory, and that is his last bastion of hope, as it does get Temporal Wormhole. And actually, MasterLeaf going to be pushing forward here with DirtyDutch. The Scorpion tanks from Dutch going to be able to outmatch and outgun the tanks of Andre, as unfortunately the numbers quite aren't on Andre's side, as well, Descent's tearing through a couple of more Scorpion tanks, making it even harder for anything to happen. And once again, base defense is not quite being enough from Team 100% World Champs. They just don't have enough units. They don't have enough firepower to deal with this army, and the slow push is beginning to take its toll. Andre trying to reinforce from down south, but he doesn't have a great economy. He hardly has an economy that's established there at all, and without the additional income, he has no real way to stop this push. As Panic's last production facility is about to fall, he's going to have to tap out of this game for now. All he's doing is really harvesting Tiberium, and that is pretty much it for Panic. He's out of this game. We're basically into a 1v2 situation, and Andre has to make it happen. He has to find some sort of magic in him to really stand up against this overwhelming wave of forces that are coming in with reinforcements. A couple of Annihilator tripods on the field going to be slowly making their way down south. Even the phase going off on a couple of gunwalkers in case there's infantry, or to potentially just absorb some incoming fire. But there's really not a whole lot here for Panic to, Andre to really put out here against this force. Couple of Scorpion tanks stepping up to the plate, and they're getting batted away by DirtyDutch. And again, the overwhelming numbers coming out from Dutch just being impossible to deal with for Team 100% World Champs. Gunwalker slowly going to be closing in. Panic needs to do something crazy, but unfortunately, he's pretty much out of this game, and Andre needs to really make a miracle happen as he sells off most of his base. It's a fire sale, and goodbye. Andre has been defeated. Panic has virtually nothing left, just a power plant, and that is it. A 3-0 as Team dgaf FU knocks out Team 100% World Champs in quick and easy fashion. None of these games went on particularly long. 8 minutes for this last one, not even a full 9 minutes, as it was quite the shutout from Team dgaf FU, and they are going to be making it into the grand finals. I'm curious to see who is going to be joining them, because I don't actually know. So we're going to be jumping into semifinal B in just a little bit. I'm going to be doing it immediately, and hopefully I have the time to actually process these videos and upload them quickly. Otherwise, you guys will have to wait a couple of days. But thank you all very much for watching. Of course, another thanks to Scott O'Neill for donating the money and making this event happen. Who will take home $300? We'll be finding out in just a little bit, but let's jump into semifinal B, and this is Sybert signing out.